Hi there. Welcome to The Preventable, the podcast giving you a seat at the table with conversations about the intersection of alcohol, drugs, and mental health in everyday lives. Take a seat and join us.
Welcome to The Preventable. With me today is Leslie Robinson, founder and executive director of H.O.P.E for the Future. Welcome.
Thank you.
Did I say that right? Founder and executive director?
That is correct.
How does that title feel, by the way?
It actually feels great. It's something that I've been dreaming about for many years. It's a passion of mine. So it's something that, I've been dreaming about. I did it.
So
finally.
What is it? Dig in. Tell us, what is H.O.P.E for the Future? I love this organization, by the way.
So H.O.P.E for the Future is a mentoring program for teen moms and young adult moms. Originally started off with just teens, but I realized that in working with them, they still needed some guidance and direction as young adults and young moms as well. I actually became a young mom myself my senior year in college. So I didn't know much, but I had a very, supportive family and a very supportive village, I would say. There were people providing me with resources and kind of guiding me along the way. So it was just always a passion of mine to kind of reach back and help others.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing now.
And so you created this while you were working and all of the things in the middle of COVID. Is this correct?
Yes, we were actually established.
You're nuts, by the way. You just didn't have anything else to do?
When things started shutting down, there was no excuse for me not to do it. I procrastinated, long enough, and I was already kind of in the works of doing it. And I would say the February of 2020 was when I just really said, I'm going to go. I just did the paperwork, and I'm going to get incorporated today. And literally the next month, the world shut down. So it's been a process. We've been slow growing, but there is a handful of girls that I am working with. I kind of knew them from a previous program. And when that program closed, they were left basically homeless, I would say. And I previously told them what I was trying to do and what I wanted to do. And they was like, oh, Miss Leslie, if you do it, please call me. Please contact me. So that's what I did.
So I would bet the initial plan was to meet in person, and then obviously that had to change.
Yes.
So you're meeting virtually with these moms and young adults. Like, how often? Like, what does this look like?
So we kind of do group meetings maybe twice a month.
Okay.
Where we just kind of have the girls express maybe some concerns that they have as young parents, or some topics that they would like to discuss. So one thing that came up recently was just preparing for interviews, searching for jobs, and getting a job that is something that they would be passionate about and something that they would actually enjoy, where they can make a decent living.
Right.
And
so where they're not just surviving, but they're thriving.
Absolutely. To
quote my friend Shavannah.
Right.
Yes.
So many of these young girls are coming from situations where mom was a teen mom and grandma was a teen mom.
Yeah.
And what we did was we basically dropped out of school and we depended on government aid to kind of survive. And so what we're trying to do is kind of show the girls there's a better way. You can have a fulfilling life. You can still get an education. You can still have a career, and you can still be a great mom.
So I would imagine I have a ton of questions here. So first thought is, you specifically work with the moms. What about the dads?
So we are so open to the dads. Many times, unfortunately, the dads are not in the picture.
Sure.
But we've had a couple of dads along the way in the previous program that were interested, attended the groups, attended the outings with the kids and the moms, and it was great. And so we do offer services. If we have a young dad that's interested, we offer services for them too. I do have some people that are ready to mentor.
Yeah.
And so
right, because exactly right, because that's how you sustain it. Because right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is just you, my friend.
It's just me. I have a couple of contracted case managers that are on standby when this program gets bigger, and we're hoping that it gets bigger really soon.
Ma'am.
But right now, I have about 8 young ladies that I'm working with.
And so eventually, you would like them to really be mentors and kind of part of the soldiers in your army.
Absolutely. So we have one young lady that's actually in school getting her master's degree in social work.
Stop it.
Yes. We kind of helped mentor her through her bachelor's degree. She was like, well, do I still want to be in social work, or what do I want to do? And so we had some discussions. And I want to say this past semester, she was admitted to UMSL in their MSW program. So she's one that I'm working really closely with so she can reach back and mentor another young mom. She's in her early 20s.
So she's really a success story.
She really is. And on top of that, she has a child that was just recently diagnosed with autism.
Whoa.
And we have a couple of other moms that we're seeing some symptoms, so we're kind of making connections with First Steps and things like that, pediatricians, and getting them evaluated to see if this is a need. And she's an excellent role model of how, she's gotten her child in a program where
she's
he's
really
thriving.
Advocating for her child.
She is. And it's just awesome to see.
I mean, we came to know each other through a Flourish grant opportunity. And Flourish really, in this particular grant opportunity, was providing funding for organizations that were supporting moms and babies, right? Particularly Black moms and babies to improve health outcomes for baby, but also for mom.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that was sort of the thing that really got you up and going. And now you're continuing to look for what's next, right?
Yes, we are looking for additional funding.
Yes.
Because we want to do more with the program. We want to be able to hire the caseworkers and have people on full time, working with the young ladies, kind of being, now I'm kind of like, just call me when you need me type of thing.
Right.
And so most of the time, it's during daytime hours or on the weekend or whatever, but they know if they have an emergency, they can call me.
Because you're still working a full-time job.
I'm still working a full-time job. So my goal is to get funding up and running for the program so that I can focus 100% of my attention.
So how do these moms find you?
So anyway, like I have a young lady that's in the program that has a friend. And she's like, Miss Leslie, I think she can benefit from this program. So she's sending her my way. We accept referrals from anywhere. It can be clinics, it can be schools. So I'm currently talking to some school counselors at some of the local high schools.
Awesome.
We predominantly service the North County area.
Okay.
Although I do have a couple that are kind of Central West End and the city.
And I would imagine if, like, the virtual atmosphere, if you choose to expand that or keep that allows moms to really come from anywhere.
Right. So our groups are via Zoom. Mm-hmm. That's something that most young people can access.
I get it.
The technology works for them.
I certainly had to learn. Right. Yeah.
And so we've been able through Flourish to get diapers and pull-ups through the St. Louis area diaper bank. And so they are able to get diapers. And what we do is just porch drop-offs at this point. We're making sure that the girls are safe. Mm-hmm. The babies are safe. We're waving at the babies during the window.
So is that an incentive to participate, that if they participate, they'll get diapers?
They'll get diapers. We're planning outings for moms and babies, just kind of showing them, like, they want to go to the Magic House. They want to go to the zoo. So some of the funding that we have allows for, like, incentives.
Yeah. Oh,
so
that's great.
They do the work, then we can do the fun stuff, too. So...
All right, so at Prevent+Ed, we talk a lot about stigma. Mm-hmm. And I'll just, in many respects, I'll go so far as to say prejudice against people with substance use disorders. Mm-hmm. There's this like, or like a we don't talk about it, or like a, well, they came from that kind of a family. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that there are very similar through lines with being a teen mom.
Yes.
The terms like unwed mom and things like that. I mean, I'd imagine the shame is real.
Yeah.
So is that something that you talk about in these groups?
Oh, yeah. Self-esteem, building self-esteem, positive mindset, the belief that I can do anything. It's kind of what we're pouring into them because, again, we've had these generational, just kind of like poverty-stricken type of situations. And these young ladies, I'm amazed at how they struggle and they fight for survival. And they just say, hey, this is what I want to do. I have one that wants to be a mechanic.
Cool.
One wants to go into music. And so I'm just kind of looking at my circle and saying, okay, who does this? Who can mentor this young mom?
I was going to ask that. Okay, so with this young mom who wants to be a mechanic?
A mechanic.
So then you just put out a blast to your network and say who wants a helper, who wants to teach her some skills and mentor her?
Absolutely. There's one that is really good at cosmetology, nails and hair and stuff like that. Well, I'm like, let's foster that. Like, I know a lot of people, like I know my hairstylist. I know a lot of people that can teach her, hey, okay, so in order to do this, You need to go to this type of a school. These are the courses that you'll have to take. This is some stuff that you'll have to know, and just kind of walking them through that process.
You mentioned that you were a teen mom yourself.
Very young adult,
Very,
not
very
quite
young.
a teen.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Very,
but I was
yes.
still in college.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Had not finished
you were
school.
young and you were like, oh,
Young
help.
and scared.
Yeah, right, exactly. Young
Exactly.
and scared. Okay. So is that really what keeps you going? Because I would imagine this work is hard.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're not in it for the paycheck. You're
Absolutely
working a
not.
full-time job, and you're doing this kind of on the side,
Yes.
hoping to make it your, the full thing, so you can retire from this other thing.
Yes, absolutely.
So what keeps you going? Especially, I would imagine that some of the moms struggle, and
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough.
It's a lot of follow-up, encouraging. And me personally, it's my passion. Like, I really want to see other young women succeed. I've been a social worker for almost 30 years now, and I was able to do that while pregnant, had a baby while I was still trying to finish school. And you know how it is with babies and daycare and getting viruses and sick and stuff.
Yeah, they're out all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I had a village. Like,
They're like
I
a
thought,
walking petri dish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My parents were awesome. I even had a brother that was like, I'll take her so you can get some homework done. So
Oh my gosh, I love that.
that type of thing is what I'm kind of trying to foster. We do have some with parents that are still involved. Some still live at home with their parents. And so we kind of encourage. Like, we sometimes even invite the grandparents to go on outings and do things with us.
You know, what's interesting is the number of kiddos that we see who are living with non-biological caregivers, or like an auntie or a grandma or something like that. And many times the parents are still in the picture. It's just they're kind of trying to
They're trying to make it.
they're trying to make it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
How proud are your kids of you?
My biological daughter is very proud of me. I only have one. I didn't have any more. She's almost 30. And she actually is volunteering to do the job readiness portion.
Of course she is.
She loves it. She loves the girls. And so she was like, well, Mom, I'm putting together a workshop for the girls to kind of help them with interview skills and dress and attire when you go on an interview and that type of thing.
That.
So I still have a lot of family support and a lot of friend support and a lot of church support. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning on my village right now to kind of help me build this village.
Do we ever stop leaning on our village?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. I just think that that's so important. And I've gone to my church to say, hey, I need diapers. Can you guys help? And they'll do a diaper drive for me. Like, family members are saying, can we adopt a family for Christmas? So that type of thing is kind of what keeps me going, to see that other people actually do care. And they're not making these young moms feel like they are a failure.
Exactly.
Rather, we're trying to build them up to be a success so they can be proud of themselves and their kids can be proud of them as well.
Yeah, because I think, just to go back, I mean, I think there is this like, oh, you made like a bad life choice.
Yeah.
You know, and some choice was involved, sure. And then there was also a host of other things that were generational, that were environmental, that led to this outcome. Same thing in a lot of respects with substance use disorders.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a choice at some point, and then at some point it's like, here we are.
Yeah.
And now what are we going to do about it?
What are we going to do now?
What are we going to do
I
now?
actually had that conversation with a grandma once. She had a 13-year-old that was pregnant. And she's no longer in our program, but she was so embarrassed, and she was telling everybody who would listen how embarrassed she was.
Oh, yeah, and it's like you see it as like a sign of failure. That
Yes. So the
right.
child was just totally humiliated. And the conversation I was able to have with the mom said, we know she made a mistake. And yes, this is not what we planned.
Yeah.
For our child's
right,
life.
exactly.
But this baby is coming. You guys decided to have the baby. So what can we do now to support you? And that was the turnaround, because it was like, okay, yeah, we did make the decision to have the baby. So the baby's coming.
It's happening.
So what do we do now? You know, how do we help her finish her education? How do we help make sure that the baby has everything he or she is going to need, and mom is going to have what she needs? And so we were able to support that family with clothing. Another program that we kind of worked with was helping hand-me-downs.
Yes.
So, I mean, these young moms, they can go there and get clothes and toys and books and things like that. Don't have to worry about paying for it. then they can bring it back when they're done. They recycle it and somebody
Love
else
that.
can use it. So I love that program as well.
Do you also have conversations about like parenting, like my child? I mean, you talked a little bit about some,
yes.
yeah, but like sometimes it's like we just had guests who were talking about the importance of sleep and structure. Well, that is way easier said than done, you know, and especially if you're balancing school and you're balancing paying bills and you're balancing all the things. Like, I would imagine wanting to lean on somebody else to talk about that.
And that's some of the things that they kind of are able to discuss. Like when they have those peer support groups and they can say, hey, you know, my kid won't go to sleep at night. What are you doing? And then you'll be surprised at the suggestions that others have given. And even most of the time when we're doing the groups, the kids are running around and want attention and stuff. So you're kind of watching how do they handle that? How do they redirect when the kid is deciding to throw a temper tantrum?
Yes.
So
how do you do that? Asking for a friend, of course.
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
So I mean, and just teaching them, all kids are different. No child is gonna act exactly like the next child. So we have to be cautious not to say, well, I had this kid and this kid was smart in math, and then this next kid come along and they're not smart in math. So what do we do? So we have to understand that the children are individuals and they're going to be different.
What's next for you? I mean, I feel like maybe the better question is like, what isn't next? Because I just feel like I feel like privileged that I'm on the ground floor getting to interview you now. And I feel like the next time you come in next year or whatever, it's going to be it's going to be different. So what is next for you?
The goal is to get the program fully funded. I also have aspirations to open up other Hope for the Future sites, like in Chicago and Atlanta, other areas that I know where teen pregnancy is prevalent. And so, but I want to get it popping here in St. Louis, get it going. And I want to see these girls again. And I think they're on their way to being able to pour back into other young moms and give them advice and kind of help them along the way as well.
We had also at one point kind of talked about like you're building everything, right? So you're building while you're flying.
Yeah.
You're building the infrastructure, you're building your website. You still have a phone number. What's the phone number?
We still have the phone number. The phone number is 314-669-1070. And that is my personal number. That is a confidential voicemail. So if you get it, you can leave a message. And I am happy to discuss.
I mean, I see this
getting
as
them
like
into the program.
Getting like tons of moms that need it. I mean, but I would also imagine your ultimate goal is to not be needed anymore.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, that's like with us,
the goal is like, this young woman is self-sufficient. She's raising her kid. She is doing well. She's in a career that she loves. She's able to now become a mentor. She's able now to say, somebody helped me, so I want to help somebody else.
That's right.
That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. I mean, we both want to retire early, right?
Right.
We look really good on a beach somewhere with like, whatever, like a sunshade over us. Like that would be great. So ultimately we want to put ourselves out of a job, but we also know we have to build that village, build protective factors.
Absolutely.
In order to do that.
Absolutely.
I am just so grateful to meet you, and I cannot wait to have you back here and just tell me all of the like amazingness that's happening.
And thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
This is the first time that I've ever been able to speak publicly about Hope for the Future.
Woo!
I've been a little timid about putting it out there, but I'm like, I know in order to build
ask
it
for it, you just might get it.
But I'm like, I'm really serious about helping these young women and their children. And so I know in order to do that we're going to need support. And so, we're out there now. We're putting it out there.
All right.
Thanks to you.
Breaking news. You've heard it here first.
Right.
Seriously, this is, I think our region needs it. I think other regions need it. And anything that can help reduce just there's so much just crap that people feel, right, about themselves and hold it in. And it's really cool that you're saying, like, we're here, we got you. And
mental health is you just brought something else up.
Go.
That's another thing. Like we are, if I see a young woman struggling, a young lady struggling, we will refer to counseling. We'll, refer to other organizations who do what we don't do.
Yeah. Because you're not trying to be all things to all people.
We can't be all things to all people, but we want to make sure that they're physically, emotionally, spiritually healthy.
For themselves and for the kid.
And for the kid.
Give their phone number one more time.
314-669-1070. I think I said it right.
Leslie, thank you so much for joining us today. I really am excited about what Hope for the Future holds. I mean, the future is pretty bright. So.
Yes, we do have a bright future.
Yes. If you like this conversation, if you want to learn more about Leslie and Hope for the Future, please consider rating, reviewing, and subscribing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us at The Preventable, brought to you ad-free by Prevent+Ed. Prevent+Ed works to reduce or prevent the harms of alcohol and other drug use through education, intervention, and advocacy. Please visit their website at prevented.org. Like what you heard? Rate, review, and subscribe to stay up to date with what we are serving on The Preventable.